Luckiest are those who recognize their potential. We are so unfortunate because we don't know who we are, who we truly are, because we haven't asked this question to ourselves. I mean, what age we are at right now? Have we ever uh, summoned the courage, or have we ever dared to ask this question to ourselves, who we truly are? And what's the purpose we have been set here for? Have we recognized our potential? Have we recognized what we exactly, what can we do, what are we interested in? No, we're in that mad cat race to just, win and just to grab more marks, and just listen to me, we are in our own time zone. There's a guy who has achieved things at the age of 25, and there's a guy who is 50 who has not still achieved anything. And there is then another guy who has achieved things at age of 20, he has become a billionaire. There's another guy who is 45, still not been close to that very person. But don't get disappointed, don't get disheartened, don't lose.
You should begin, and you should speak. You should speak.
Yeah,
Then,
absolutely.
if anybody have question, they can ask you question.
All right, dear, I'll try my best to. So it's a random thing, and there's right now nothing in my mindset, and but I'll be trying my best that I somehow chip in and contribute to whatever is beneficial, and whatever may benefit you in one way or the other way. To begin with, I'm actually Hazik. Brother knows me very well. He's a close friend of mine, and my name is Adil Hussain, and I am from the same area as Hazik hails from. And it's a pleasure. It surely gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this Zoom meeting or Zoom session. It's a very nice initiative taken by Brother Yawa, and it feels really nice. I feel really ecstatic to see that guys are joining up. They are enthusiastic. They carry that zeal with themselves to learn new things. And there's a common notion. I like to add that thing before I actually hit the topic or strike the topic. There's this thing that you might have listened to it, or many a times, that we're not giving so much of weightage to our mother tongue, Kashmiri language. And there are like somebody who tries to speak in English language, he's often demoralized, sort of like you are not giving so much of weightage to your Kashmiri language. But I reckon that if you go down the memory lane, you talk about the one of the finest and the renowned poets like Ahmad Faraz. His language is basically, native language is Pashto, but you can see his writings in Urdu. You can see one of the very renowned another poet like Arhan Pamuk. He has some his native language is English, but he writes in Turkish. There's like this one of the best short story teller, this Sadat Hussain Mantu. Uh, he has his roots from Kashmir, as he writes in his write-ups, but he speaks in Urdu, or he has his linkage or lineage with Punjabi. His native language is Punjabi, but he writes in Urdu. So there is this, I think this is somewhat like where so much language fanatics, and we indulge ourselves in this linguistic renegadism, as Gawhar Gilani sir has rightly put it. We need to come out of it. We need to explore more languages. If you get the time to learn Turkish, you get the time to learn Persian, you get the time to learn Arabic, be open to it. Just don't get yourself bound to a shell, to a cocoon, where you get down into it thinking that no, we're not good at Kashmiri language. We need to be having the expertise that no, you should be open to all other languages that are coming up. Be open to everything. If you get the time, learn Chinese. If you have the time, just make it a habit to learn new language. Make it a habit to learn a new book. Just set a goal for yourselves. And I think my just this was a pep talk. Before I delve into the topic, before I surge ahead, um, I think there are things like the line that I'll be putting up here is like, what you love. If you love what you are interested in, if you do what you love, and if you love what you do, life will always be rewarding. You should be like very passionate about what you're doing. See a cricketer. He's very passionate. He hits the gym, he hits the net session hard, he hits the gym hard, and he's trying to make sure that he practices all day long. Why? Because he's passionate about that sport. He's passionate about performing well in the field. So same way, if you are passionate about anything, any damn thing in your life, whatever you are interested in, you're passionate about doing that thing, life will always be rewarding. You'll take that up fun, you'll enjoy everything. Suppose if you're interested in reading, it will not become boredom for you. You will not feel very bored. You will just love it because you're passionate about reading. And yes, it's like things are happening beyond end of the comfort zone. If you get stranded and stuck in a comfort zone, then definitely things cannot be happening. You cannot just expect things happening to you on your own. You need to come out of your comfort zone and try things, make efforts, then update your level, increase your stamina and go for it. See, we have this dogma in a society carrying on that we're so much running after this academic thing, this mark stuff, this memory thing. There is a student who appears in 10th examination. If he scores above 450, he's graded as a brilliant student. Likewise, in 12th examination, we have set these standards for ourselves. Like there's a student who scores or bags some 470 plus marks or odd marks in this 10th or 12th examination. He's graded in that. He's a brilliant student, he's a genius. But these things hardly matter. I'll just share a story with you. There was a guy who was basically, there was a couple in Europe, and they had no son. That mother could not conceive a baby, and finally they went for adoption. They adopted a son, and they brought him well, and they sent him to one of the finest schools in Britain. And then he entered into college, and when it was the time to decide, they checked out which one is the best college in that area, and they enrolled him there. But that guy decided to drop out of the college because there was something going on in his head, and he started working on something. He started teaming up on something. He collaborated with his friend, and they started working on something. When he decided, because you need to be decisive. If you are decisive about your own life, if you are decisive about what you're doing, need not to think that whatever you have decided, you need to go into the consequences. And if you're sure that while you're taking this decision, you can do much better than being into it, then go for it. Be decisive, don't be confused, don't get stuck, don't get stranded. Then this guy who was adopted by a couple who had no actually their own child, and uh, when he took this decision of dropping out, it came as a shock. It came as an utter surprise for his family, for the people who were residing in that society, because he was enrolled by his family in one of the finest schools or finest colleges in Britain. It some told him that it's a stupid decision. What he's doing, has gone crazy and he's gone mad. He's completely gone insane. What he's doing, what sort of decision has he taken? This is completely bizarre from his part. But he listened to all those stories coming up, and I have a story to tell you. I have in principle, I want something to convey at the end. Just listen to this story properly. So everybody, in fact, even his family scolded him, even his family rebuked him, even his family maltreated him. Why? Because they had expectations linked with him. They wanted him to become this, blah blah blah, that thing, because they were weaving their own dreams by just in that child. He will do this so that their conscience, we call this in literature chronicling the audience, so that their own own dreams will get satisfied. But he decided against the odds. He braved all odds and he decided to drop out. So okay, he listened to all the stories, all those bullshit crap stories from people, why he decided to drop out of the college. But he was decisive, he was pretty sure what he's doing, and he started working on something with his friend. And then people who were scolding him, who were rebuking him. And after some years, what he was working on, and the world came to know, about that boy we call as Steve Jobs. You might have heard about this, the Apple icon who has revolutionized the world. We see everybody coming up, a crazy guy posing in front of the camera just to show that, logo of Apple. So that Apple revolutionized the world. And he was Steve Jobs, the one who decided to drop out of the college. I'm not saying anybody that you need to drop out of the college to do something. I'm saying that if you're decisive about your work, if you are passionate about your work, nobody would have recognized him. Nobody would have He would have remained untraced, unseen, unknown had he been in that college, because he was, bestowed upon with something else. He recognized his potential, what he's best at, what he's meant for, because there is a purpose every human being has been sent here for. And everybody knows him. Everybody, the world was in utter shock that such was that, advancement of the technology, Apple icon. So that was Steve Jobs. I'm saying that I'm not advocating for the stuff that to do something you need to drop out of the college, not at all. I'm just saying that if you are not passionate about what you are doing, please skip, leave that, do what you are interested in, and you will see, life will open up. Life will be so rewarding that you have no idea of. So that there comes creativity. You need to be critical about what you're doing. Just please recognize your potential. There are people who, blessed are those, luckiest are those who recognize their potential. We're so unfortunate because we don't know who we are, who we truly are, because we haven't asked this question to ourselves. I mean, what age we are at right now? Have we ever uh, summoned the courage, or have we ever dared to ask this question to ourselves, who we truly are? And what's the purpose we have been set here for? Have we recognized our potential? Have we recognized what can we do? What are we interested in? No, we're in that mad cat race to just, win, and just to grab more marks, and just listen to me. We are in our own time zone. There's a guy who has achieved things at the age of 25, and there's a guy who is 50 who has not still achieved anything. And there is then another guy who has achieved things at age of 20. He has become a billionaire. There's another guy who is 45, still not been close to that very person. But don't get disappointed, don't get disheartened, don't lose your heart. You are in your own time zone, you're in your own time frame, you're running in your own time zone. Don't be in competition with other people. Please don't make this mistake. Just be in competition with your own self, what you were yesterday and what you are today. If your graph inclines, you were yesterday at this point, this was the breaking point yesterday, and you have reached higher, you have inclined. That means you have progressed. That's what's required. That's it. When you are in competition, just apply this to yourself and see the drastic consequences. See, it will be completely catastrophic. If you are in competition with other people, just try it once. I mean, you will be so much, delving into the fact that you'll be thinking about his performances and affecting your own performance. You will be affecting your own performance by just thinking about somebody else's performance, because you are putting yourself in competition with him. And that is telling upon the efficacy of your true potential. That is telling upon it can have deleterious effect upon what you're doing. Please don't be in competition with other people. They are going ahead, let them. You're in our time zone, they are in their own time zone. Just focus on yourself, invest on yourself, update your version each and every day. You should not be the same version as you were yesterday. Like we are watching, micro these smartphones, their version gets updated, and there is a demand in the market because it has a good version, about 10, about whatever. I'm not going into the technicalities. So just update your version each and every day, and don't be negative. Where so much, negative thoughts are so much affecting our mental health, we have no idea of. We lose our tranquility, we lose our peace of mind, we lose our bliss just because we're thinking negatively. Just narrow this space for it. Just always think positive about life, carry that positive mentality, that positive attitude, never dying attitude, never giving up attitude. Have that spark within you. Don't let that spark dwindle ever. Rekindle it, fuel it, fuel it always. And just you'll be dragged down, or you'll be swayed or carried away by the dogma that people carry along with. Stay away from the people who are negative, who think negatively, who impart negative stuff into your mind. Stay away from the people, because negative people have always problems for each solution. Just be in a company of positive people. They have solutions for each problem. They will give you solutions to each and every problem, rather than a negative person who offers all the problems to you, and you get so disheartened, you lose your heart, and you just give up. You just think that and I have seen people saying that he was so brilliant when he could not do this. I mean, how can I? Man, people with consistency, people with utter dedication, people with utter determination have reached the mark. They have reached to the pinnacle of the glory. It's a common saying, talent, it's like, when there's a clash between hard work and talent. Hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. So how much a talented person is doesn't matter if he's not working hard, if he's not consistent, if he's not determined, if he's not dedicated. You need to, you call that a smart work, hard work, whatever. There is no substitute to hard work, man. You have to, it's like, it's a common saying, somebody who is if you're sleeping, remember, there's a person who is reading, there's a person who is working hard. I mean, take the example of the gym. There's a person who hits the gym hard, who works there hard for 2 hours. He will definitely shape up his body. Obviously, his results in his body will be visible, rather than a person who is just lying in his home and just sitting doing nothing. So there is no substitute to hard work. You have to work hard. It's like you will see, I'm talented, I'm all that, things will come up to me on its own. You are living in a fairy tale land, man, where it will have consequences. Never giving up attitude, never dying spirit, and working really hard, working efficiently. If you are working 4 hours a day, push your limits, work extra, work 5 hours a day. There's no substitute. The more you work, it's like in a Lamarckian and Therian, those who are from the biological background, or for that matter to all, it's the organ that you're putting to use quite often, its efficacy will increase. Its efficacy to work will increase. So if you are putting your mind to use, more efficiently, if you are working for more hours, your dendritic connections, that develop more, and you become more efficient. You have a better understanding, your vision, you possess that knack of looking at the things differently. You just don't merely detect at the things. You don't detect the things, you observe them. You get an idea out of them. There's a butterfly that you see hovering upon the flowers. You just don't detect that process. You just observe what's happening, and you learn from it, because we learn from the molecules, we learn from all these insects, all these birds that are here in this universe. Because only then you possess that knack of observing things, when you put your mind to extra use, when you think critically, when you just think efficiently, and just don't get swayed away by your emotions. Emotions definitely drown you at times. It's good to be emotional, because there's a scholar who says a man without emotions is a robot. So we're not robots. We have emotions, and we are emotional beings. It's okay. But don't get driven away. Don't get swayed away by your emotions. Be positive about your life. Don't let negativity. It's like, see what negativity does. There's a boat, it's sailing over. If the water around the boat If it enters into it, the boat will definitely drown. So what has drowned this boat? The water around it. All right. So the negativity drowns you. The same way that water around the boat has drowned this water, because this boat has let that water to get in. Once that water entered into the boat, it has drowned. If that boat would not have any lacunae, if that boat would not have any crevice, it would not have any hole, the water would not have entered it and entered into it, and the boat would not have drowned. So there was a limitation in the boat, there was a shortcoming in the boat in the form of a crevice or a hole, or whatever it was. So in same way, don't let the negativity to drown you. Make your sphere, make your sphere of influence so strong, make your domain so strong that there is no hole in it, there is no crevice in it, so that the negativity does not enter into a life and it don't get drowned upon. Become so strong, become mentally so stiff, man, become so strong that nothing impacts you. Don't get influenced by what people are telling about you. I'll tell you that if a person rides on your back for the rest of his life, he will still say that your back was not flat. He will always have complaints. He will always complain about it, that your back was not flat, although you carried him for so many years. People have always something to say. Take it from me. If you are doing a prophetic thing, if you are doing such a sacred thing that there are no negative clauses about it, people will always brag about it. They will always bark about it. And remember, people always bark about, dogs bark when they don't know the person. If the dogs get to know that person, they won't bark at that person. So don't think about it. Don't get influenced, don't get impacted by what people are telling them. I think, I'm getting a text that, there are some 13 odd minutes left in the meeting, and I'll just put a mark here because I'll be open to the questions, and I will love to take the questions from my loving audience. Please, any query, anything related to
Thank you
this stuff or
so much,
anything beyond
man.
this, I'm open to it.
To be
Please,
honest, it was. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, guys?
yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
properly.
really,
Yeah,
man. It was really
yeah, yeah.
mesmerizing. Like I got goosebumps because I'm struggling through. Like you touched some points. Like it really hits me. And thank you so much for sharing your insights. I really appreciate it, and I loved it, man. It was kind of melody to my ears.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot because as much as I can do, I will love to contribute and chip
Thank you
in.
so much, man. I just have one question that like you can recommend me some books if you have any favorite one.
Is it related to literature or?
Yeah, anything like fiction,
I think short
non-fiction.
story. For short story, you should read this Sadat Hussain Mantu. I think he's the best short storyteller. And Arhan Pamuk. Although he writes in Turkish, but you can get his translations also. And you can have a brush up with the write-ups of what we call Ajazul Haq. He's from our
Mhm.
Kashmir, and Aga Shahid Ali you might be knowing very
Mhm.
properly. And I think these are the few writers. If you get to have a brush up with Sadat Hasan Mantu, I think his stories are so appealing, and they will delve you into another world, and so creativity level at its peak. Honestly.
All right. Thank you so much, man.